Hello, everyone. My name is Sal Calesi. I'm a senior managing consultant here at Avalon Software Services. I'm going to give you a brief opening about our organization, and then I'm going to hand it over to my counterpart, Pankaj, as he walks through fast formulas in Oracle Cloud. So a brief background about our company. We started in 2010, and we've grown consistently to just over 125 employees across the globe. We have headquarters in Texas, India, Dubai, and the UK, and we have over 70 projects worldwide with our clients. Our key areas of focus are Oracle products and applications, specifically Fusion and EBS and mobility specialization. We provide a deep level of expertise in consulting advice, ranging from business process optimization to full enterprise level implementations, upgrade and support services. Here's a visual of some of our sample offerings. Like I said, from implementations to upgrades to development, support services, our deep professional expertise in reinforcing best practices, preserving and proactive approach, business process improvement, innovation, and cost-effective solutions allow us to service our customers based upon individual client needs. So why Avalon? Why would you want to work with us? Well, we have the right people focusing on these technologies. We have worldwide presence. We'd like to offer an opportunity to work together with you by providing a free 30-minute phone or remote session called a health check after this session ends. We'll share the contact information at the end of the presentation today. We would love to hear about your organization, what you're currently doing, where you're looking to go, any sort of pain points you're having, business processes. We would love to engage in business with you guys. We're honored to be able to present to you today. So I will now hand it over to my counterpart, Pankaj, and he will be your presenter for the rest of the session.
All right. Thank you very much, Sal, for that brief and quick introduction. And hello, everyone. Welcome, a very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you who have joined today to deep dive into the world of Oracle Fusion Fast Formula. Before I begin today's session, I would like to give a brief background about myself. I am working in Avalon as a senior managing consultant. I have in total 8+ years of experience in human capital management. I initially started with Oracle EBS, and that is where I honed my technical skills of fast formula. And as the world moved towards cloud, so did I. From EBS to cloud, I did a couple of implementations, and the legislation which I have worked was Gulf and US. And the fun fact about me is that I'm a long distance runner. I love traveling, and I'm also an orator. Moreover, before I start the session, I would like to request all of you to let's have the session quite very interactive. And if you have any questions in the mid of the session, please feel free to interrupt and drop in the message. By that, we would be able to clear all your doubts as we proceed through the session. All right, so as you can see on the screen, the agenda for today is as follows. So first, we'll go through an overview of the payroll, followed by understanding what is a fast formula, what does it do. We'll see what are different types of fast formulas that Oracle provides. Then we'll dive little into technical and try to find out and understand the dictionary of fast formula. Followed, we'll be engaging in little sample formulas, which I have written in my previous experience in different projects. And then the ground will be open for question and answers. Yeah. Fast formula is something which is used in all the modules in Oracle, be it payroll, absence management, OTL, benefits, comp, ORC. It is being used everywhere. But payroll is something where it is used at the max. So Oracle Payroll, as you all know, is very widely used throughout the globe, as it helps in compliance, maintaining compliance risk, because Oracle provides legislation-specific rules. It helps in reducing the cost of payroll integrations. Then there are third-party payroll integration. It provides financial flexibility. And finally comes the fast formula, where we can write any logic using any mathematics. So this is a brief about payroll, that we have an input, then there's a calculation, and then there are the outputs. Input means any changes that are there happening in the payroll. It's very dynamic across the business. For example, salary changes, promotions, time and absence coming from OTL, W4 elections, benefits, bonuses. Practically all the modules are, serves as an input to the payroll. And then we do calculations based upon whatever the client requirement is, and we write our fast formula so that we can get the desired output. And at the end, the output means it could be reports like standard reports like pay slips or W2, or they could be checks, third party payments, journal entries, dynamic balances, even so much so that even costing, although Oracle provides a very deep costing flexibility, but even there we can write a fast formula and make it work according to as we need. For example, in my experience in my last project, I was working on a US project, and there it was a distributed costing, and we have to write a fast formula so that the cost codes could be generated properly. So that is the strength of fast formula. And this slide explains in brief about the payroll flow. Payroll flow practically is same in all organizations, irrespective of what ERP are we using. There's retro followed by payroll run, and there is prepayments, which decides that employee should be paid from which method. Then there are payslip generation, transfer to subledger, create accounting, generating multiple reports, and this is what a general cycle of payroll is. So in the second step, which I mentioned, that was payroll calculation, is where we have to use fast formula in deep. Now, payroll is made of elements. Now, elements is something which is the building block of payroll. Irrespective of any legislation, element is something which we should be very expert at, because this is what builds the whole payroll. There are different types of elements. It can be earning elements, which adds up to the payslip. It could be deduction, which reduces your gross from the payslip. It could be benefits, leaves, and any other information type of elements as well. So we write fast formula on the elements, because then elements is something which finally gives us the result, which we see in our statement of earnings or in the pay slips or in the different reports that is getting generated for multiple purposes. For example, for validation purposes, so that was a bit about the elements. All right. So fast formula is a very simple, quick, and easy to learn calculation. We can write fast formulas, we can edit it at any point of time, we could update it, we can generate multiple formulas. And the beauty of fast formula is that it practically do not need any previous great technical skill. That's why it's even the functional consultant who probably may not be knowing a lot of technical jargons can easily write fast formulas. What all fast formula needs is simple English words plus some basic mathematical functions. And using those basic mathematical functions, we could easily write the fast formula, and you would yourself see that how easy it is to understand a fast formula as we progress through our session. Okay, it's an easy way to customize the existing functionality. What I mean to say here is Oracle provides a lot of seeded standard functionalities to cater to the needs of different businesses. But obviously, different business, different clients, based upon different industries they are working into, there is always some challenges coming up which needs to be which probably do not have the seeded functionality of Oracle. And there is where fast formula comes handy. Fast formula can return numeric value, that is a number. It can return a date value. It can even throw messages. And as I said, there's no prior experience needed. And the best part is it is a common language across all Oracle modules. So once you learn the fast formula basics, it would be like you have learned writing fast formulas for all the different modules. These are the few things which I have mentioned here, what a fast formula is capable of. Very few things, right? For an example, calculate payroll run results. Now, as if I go deeper into it, for an example, there is a basic salary, housing, transportation, or there can be loan elements. Now, all these can be based on different business needs and different business requirements. The calculation could differ. For example, in loan types, there could be multiple loans in one business. And say an employee has taken uh, two different types of loans, but there is not sufficient earnings present. So we have to decide that, okay, which loan would get deducted first. Even that can be done through, through fast formula. So ultimately, whatever generates in statement of earnings or whatever comes out as a final result in the payslip is through a fast formula. Second point which I've written here is validating element entry. So as I mentioned before, elements can be earning elements, deduction elements, benefits elements. These elements are added to the employee. For example, an employee is getting some bonus, a new year bonus, or some other performance bonus. This bonus is added to the employee in the element entry screen. But there could be some validations that needs to be put up. For an example, an employee can get a bonus only if he has, he's above some, say, grade 5. So that means employee below grade 5 would not be able to, have this in the element entry. But say by mistake, or the HR is trying to enter this element entry, or the payroll manager is trying to do this element entry, the system would automatically stop and throw a message stating that this is not the rule. The rule is only grade 5 and above are eligible for the bonus. So this is also done through fast formula. That's a validation fast formula. Next is writing the skip rule. Skip rule means we're running a payroll and an elements want to be skipped, say for that particular payroll processing, right? So we cannot say that, okay, let's remove this element from all the employees. That becomes a very tedious task. Instead of that, we can write a skip formula and attach it to the element, and that's it. These are the payroll examples. Next one are the absence accruals. Now this is again, now I'm coming to absence fast formulas, widely used fast formulas. In different businesses, we can have incremental type of accruals or a front load type of accruals. Now, those of you who are working into absence modules must be aware of these terms. For an example, say it's front loaded, where an employee get 30 days of, absence balance every year. But again, that depends upon grade, or that depends upon the position. And then there can be carryovers, at how much should be carry over. Say there are 30 days of balance which employee gets every year, but carryover should only be 10. Or again, the carryover also depends upon some other factors. So all these permutations and combinations needs to be done through fast formula. At this point of time, I do remember that in one of my clients, I had got this requirement where the employee would be getting some particular absence balance every year, but for the number of days in the last year in which he was on the suspended status, that means he was suspended from his work, those number of days have to be reduced from this year accrual. Right now, if we start doing it manually, then probably it would take a lot of time checking the Excel or wherever the data is getting stored, find out how many days he was into suspended status, and then reducing it from the current accrual. Instead of that, all of us know that in the employment page section of the employee, we have the status like active payroll, inactive employee, payroll active, suspended. So from there, I was fetching the number of days for which the employee was suspended and reducing it from the current accrual. Right, and then we can also validate absences. Validation absences is a very common feature. Like example of validation absence, like maternity leave should only be visible to the females. Although I'm just giving a brief example here. This can also be done through through absence eligibility, but there could be many different validations, which can be put through the for the absences. So all these validations can also be written, right? These are a couple of. Do you have any questions till now? Any questions, anybody? Please feel free to ask. It could be anything. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Pankaj, there was a question from before about your previous project with the costing. The question was, do you have to write a fast formula for if there is split costing, like if it's not 100% to a department level, let's say? Do you have to write a fast formula to accommodate that scenario?
Yes. See, it again depends. If you're actually splitting into multiple elements, we do have to write the fast formula for splitting that particular thing.
Thank you.
Any other question anybody has dropped in? Or shall we move ahead?
That's all for now. Maybe asking after the next couple sections. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. So what does a fast formula do? How does it work? Now, this is how technically or behind the system fast formula is working. So we give an input to the fast formula, we do some math calculation, we write our code, and then we find an output. So for an example, we are writing a validation fast formula, say. So when we write a validation fast formula, say there's a requirement stating that employee can take absence only once his probation period is completed, or after 3 months, or after 6 months. So the input which comes to the fast formula would be absence start date and the absence end date, right? That is the input which is being fed to the fast formula. And then we'll write if then else statement stating that if my absence start date is less than the probation period end date, then allow the employee, sorry, do not allow the employee to take the absence. But if it is falling after the probation end date, let the employee take the absence, right? So there's inputs, then we did some calculation, and there is an output to it. Similarly, in case of payroll, the third point, if you see on the left below any inputs, we see this payroll element input values. So the elements, those of you are aware of the payroll elements, you must be knowing a lot of input values which are present there. Based upon whatever requirement comes, we can write any number of input values. There is no limitation on that, and those input values are automatically being fetched into the fast formula, and we can write our own logic. Right? This is what fast formula is. I've given a very simple. This is the actual formula which I had written, and I've just pasted it here. For example, I've written here: if L years of service is less than 5, then I'll say if grade is greater than or equal to 5. Now, why I have done it 2 number? Because grade in the system is character, and we cannot compare grade as character to 5, which is number. Therefore, I am converting grade to a number, right? If grade is greater than or equal to 5, then bonus given would be 1200. Else, bonus should be 1000. All right, and you see the brackets. If you see the opening and the closing brackets, it's clearly stated that this logic is for L years of service less than 5. And if the length of service is greater than or equal to 5, then bonus is equal to 1500. Right? So this simple fast formula which I have written here for everybody's understanding. Now there are different types of fast formulas. Now why Oracle is providing more than 200 different types of fast formulas. Now why there's a need to it? Because it is very important that when we are writing a fast formula, say I'm writing a fast formula for the payroll calculation, this fast formula should not be visible in the absence management, fast formula segments. And if I'm writing an absence management fast formula, that fast formula should not be visible in the benefit side, right? So to segregate this, we have fast formula types. So when we create a fast formula, the first question that would be asked to us would obviously be the LDG, that is legislative data group. That means for which legislation are we writing the fast formula. Second, will be asked for the fast formula types. So if we choose Oracle Payroll, and this particular fast formula would be available for our element. So in the element, we will go and attach the fast formula, right? If I'm writing an accrual fast formula, that fast formula would only be available in the absence management, that too when we are creating the accrual type of plan. Accrual type of plans means, as I said earlier, could be incremental. That means employees getting balances every specific period, or it could be front loaded. Right? Similarly, there are benefits and compensations and Oracle time and labor. All right. Now, next, we are moving towards dictionary. Okay. So there is something we all must have read it, heard about it, read about it somewhere. When we were doing any course on any technical language, we must have heard about variables and data types and expressions and functions and all these things. And now it all comes to use here in a very simple way. You can see on the right side, I'm using variable. Now, variable is anything in which we are storing a value. And there are 3 different type of data types that Oracle fast formula provides us. First one is the number, second is the character, and third is the date. For example, I'm writing here x equals to 10. So I have defined here x variable would always be storing number. If in the next line I write x equals to ABC, fast formula will throw error. Why? Because I've already told fast formula that x will always be storing a number. Similarly, if I say L position is equal to default, that means in L underscore position, it will always be a character storage. And then L promotion date is in the format of YYYY, month, DD, or by timestamp, that is DD, hours, minutes, and seconds. That is a date. In the bracket, we have to write date there. So these are three different types of, only three types of data types that we have, that we can use in the fast formula. And then there are different functions. For example, if you see the very first line, which says L eligible date is equal to add months, hire date, comma 3. So anybody, even if somebody is reading it for the very first time, you can easily make out that yes, there is an add months function, there is a hire date, and I'm adding 3 months to it. So if my hire date is say 1st of January, so we add 3 months to it, it will give us 1st of April, right? 3 months adding. Similarly, in the second line, if you see, I've gone a little complicated, where I'm saying last day of termination date. So whatever termination date is there, last day means it will fetch out the last day of that month, and then I'm using add days. So one gets added to it. So we have different types of functions: greatest, least, get table value. All these functions are available. Now, how do we get to know all these functions available? When you open a fast formula screen, let me just try opening that screen once for all of you, so it will become very clear for everybody. Yeah, this is the fast formula screen. All right, this is what I was telling you about different types of fast formulas which are available here. You can see there are n in number, right? This is how it looks like. Now, if I open, let me open any one of these. Yeah. Now see, this is how the fast formula. We don't have to write the fast formula here. It's always best to copy it and paste in Notepad++ and write over there. On the right side, you can see database items. I'm covering it very soon. Coming up in the next slide, we have functions. In the functions, I can just type anything what I want, and you'll see that we have add days. I've just told you about add months. So it even tells, it returns the result of adding a number to months, adding a number of months to a date. So even tells us that. So we can just, or if you're not sure, just write percentage, and write month here, and then I'll get all the functions in the month. Date here, I'll get all the functions with the date, like that. Let's get back to our slide. This was about variables, data types, and functions. Next is database items. For understanding fast formula, this is very, very important to understand. Now, in the fast formula, we need to fetch the person's name, the person's number, his grade, his position, his job. All the data which is present in the system needs to be fetched into the fast formula. And for that very purpose, Oracle provides with DBI, that is database items. Okay, and I just showed you the system. There's a separate tab for DBIs. If I want to find out hire date and I do not know what is DBI for it, just write percentage hire, percentage date, percentage, right? So by that you will get all the DBI items having hire date. So when I write per person enterprise hire date in my fast formula, it would be fetching the hire date for that particular employee. Then I write pay ASG termination date, it would fetch the termination date of the employee. If it is available, if it is not available, then obviously it won't, it would fetch the default value. Similarly, we can fetch the elementary start date. By using per ASG grade name, it can fetch the grades to us. So once we start writing it, it becomes very obvious and we can easily remember, because it's always per means person, ASG means assignment. So person assignment grade name, person assignment job name. Then we also have people group segment. So person assignment people group segment 1. Like that, we can have n number of database items, and all these database items are present in all different types of fast formulas. Okay. Context, not be covering at this moment. It goes a little technical, yeah, but just remember it, have it in your mind. So whenever you start learning fast formulas or you want to have something about it, just query out context as well. Any questions till now? Anybody, please feel free to drop
We
in the
have one
message.
question here, Pankaj.
Yes.
It's how do you fetch an item from the system into the fast formulas if there is no DBI present? Is it just the percentage signs like you said, or is that for all of them, or how is that process done?
All right. Okay. So it's a very good question. See, generally Oracle provides database items for every segment which you can find out in the system. But in case say DBI item is not present for any of the segments which you can see in the system, then for that we have to create a table type of value sets. So I hope you are aware of value sets. So there is a dependent value set, there is an independent value set, something called a stable type of value sets. In the table type of value sets, we have to write a query. So in such situations, the query would fetch the data from the backend, and using that value set, table type value set, we could fetch it in the fast formula. Okay, that's
And
how
is
it is.
is the creation of those values something that can be handled within an organization, like their IT team, or is that something that's very complex that you would need a partner to or consultants to work on?
Okay, so for writing a query, obviously there would be a need of a technical person, that's for sure. But once that query is written, how to create a table type value set, that could be done by any functional consultant.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all the questions that I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to take now a couple of examples, like 2 examples. Okay. This is the absence validation formula, which I had taken example, written a short formula, and then I'm going to show you. So annual leave can only be applied once the employee completes a probation period. Now you can see it's a simple validation which we are going to write. So say there's an employee hired in December 2014 and probation ends after 3 months. That is 10th March 2015. The probation is ending. So you see 10th March 15 probation period end date. This employee takes an absence on or after 10th March. As you can see, absence start date, absence end date. So absence start and end are the inputs, right? And in the fast formula, I have written that if his absence start and end at after, on or after probation period end date, allow the employee. So employee being allowed. But in case the employee that she's trying to take the absence on 1st of March 15, where the probation has not yet completed. So immediately there is a message that you're not eligible to balance leave. Now the message could be anything. The message could be based upon, if you want to write you're not eligible because your probation period has not ended, your probation period would end on 10th of March 15, try to take an absence after that. All the messages can be printed here, right? So the first one, a simple one. Now this is the second one, little not very complicated, I would say, but it's used everywhere practically in all the projects that I have worked. This is the thing which always comes up, and the requirement is on the accrual. It is a front loaded, but based upon year of service. Like for example, if a length of services of an employee is less than 5 years, then person will receive 10 days of annual balance. That means every year he would get 10, 10, 10, 10, right? If length of service is between 6 to 10 years, then the person will receive 20 days of balance. Every year he will get 20, 20, 20 like that. And if the employee has served the organization for more than 10 years, then the person will receive 30 days of balance. This is the simple. I've given a screenshot of the class formula at the end, but for now, let's just see how it works. This employee is hired in 2014. See, he's hired in July 2014. That is the first year is going on, and we try to give him an annual accrual, which is 10. But because he's hired mid-year, he's not given full 10, but there is a proration which has been done here. So in the fast formula, I have even handled the proration. You have to find number of days between July 14 till December 14. 10 divided by those number of 10 divided by 365 multiplied by those number of days will give me 5.01. So he get 5.01. No manual calculation needed, everything in the FF. Okay. Next year in 15, as you can see in the screenshot on the left, annual accrual is 10. He gets full 10 days. And the rest of the last year, which was 5.01, gets carried over. In total, the balance becomes 15.01. Till the time he completes 5 years, every year he will get 10, 10, 10 like that. You see again in 2016, annual accrual is 10 and the rest gets carried over. So it becomes 25.01. Okay, 19, and now I come to 2020. In 2020, his 6th year starts. So the annual accrual is 20 here. Right? It's all automated. Not that we have to do something manually or type in 20, find out how many of the services completed, nothing. It's all automated. We have to just run one in the absence administration page. We have to run the accrual plan and we will get 20 here. Really, every year 2020 gets added up. And this is the 11th year which starts off, where you can see that annual accrual is 30. So now he will every year get 30. And there could be anything, like any logic could be written here. Yeah. This is a simple validation fast. Okay, this is sorry, not validation, but this is the formula which I wrote here. Length of service is less than 5, then annual accrual 10, between 5 to 10, then 20, more than 10, 30. Right? This is how we write. Not going much in technical here. Now I would come to payroll fast formula. This is a known
Can I pause you for one moment, just because I know this is a new topic and we have a question, and I want to make sure that the information is still fresh. So the question is: suppose how to find the DBI for DFFs, which was created by us. I believe that means how do you find the
yes, I'll tell you. So whoever has asked this question, thank you. It's a very good question. So when we create a DFF, the DFF, you always remember that when we get a DFF, always there is a segment which comes up, like age segment 1 or age segment 2, like that it comes up. And it is, is followed, previously written there, absence, something like that. So we have to write the same segment name in our DBI. So for example, your DFF segment is getting stored in ASG underscore segment 1. Go to your fast formula, under the DBI tab, write percentage ASG underscore segment 1 percentage. Click on enter. You will get your DBI item exactly there. That's how you get your DBI name from the fast formula. All clear?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now coming to the payroll fast formula, loan requirement I have taken here, and very simple one. The employee is taking a loan of 15,000 in June, and he says that I will be repaying it like in next 3 months with a monthly installment of 5,000. Now, this is a very simple thing which I have taken here. This is the element entry page of an employee. You see the entry values. If you see here, this is a loan amount of 15,000. Number of installment is 3. I have added few more input values. That is deduction start date. I'm also giving a feasibility to employee to decide from when deductions will start. There's something called a skip flag also I've added. Say for some month, employee says I would wish to skip for this particular month. I have something else, somewhere else planned to invest my money. So we can put skip flag is equal to Y, and for that month, it would not deduct. Override EMI. The employee wants to reduce an EMI for that particular month or pay an extra for that particular month. Just drop in the value in override EMI, and a fast formula will pick up, and that particular amount will be deducted. This is how it is. So effective start date is June of 2024. Okay, so when I run in June month, this what you are seeing on the screen is called as the SOE, that is statement of earnings of an employee when the payroll is run. And you can see there's a loan payment, extreme down loan payment of 15,000 rupees in the month of June. Next month, from July, the recovery starts. And you can see here loan recovery is 5,000. System also displays your YTD. It's called year to date. That is the balance. Calendar year to date, how much has been deducted. So very first month, 5,000 has been deducted or recovered, as to say, in the month of July. Again, next month, 5,000 deducts, but the calendar year to date is 10,000 here. Because 5 plus 5, 10. So you get to know, or through reports, the HR or the payroll manager gets to know that 10,000 has been recovered till now. Let's move to the next month. Again, 5,000 gets deducted, but the YTD balance is again increased, making it 15,000. So what my fast formula does, it compares this YTD value to the total loan amount that has been paid to him, and it stops. So what happened in the September month? If I go and see the element entry, you can see the effective end date on the left side of the screen. As you see, I've highlighted it. The element entry is automatically stopped. On the right side, you can see the settlement date. There's no need to manually come here. The fast formula has been written in such a way that these dates automatically pops up. So these are very few examples which I have taken here. So I'm done with my session. I'm done with my what I have planned for today. If you have any questions, anything, you can please let me know. Thank you. Yes, Sal, anything?
I'm going to leave it open for a minute or two here.
All right. Okay.
We do have one question, and it is how do you debug payroll for absence fast formulas?
Okay, all right. This is again a very good question. So there are, in every fast formula we write, there is a way of debugging, whether it's payroll or absence or compensation, OTL benefits, and there are different ways by which we can debug it. But the common way by which we can debug is by writing logs. So there's something called as ESS log write, and under that, in using ESS log write, we can write what. So why debugging is needed? First of all, for example, I'm trying to pick up a DB using a DB item which gives me the grade. So I'm using a DB item called as per ASG grade name. So in the log write, I will write per ASG grade name. That's it. So per ASG grade name means for that particular employee, grade would be popped out. So when we run a payroll or when you run a quick pay, there are logs which comes out. When we run an absence accrual plan, there are logs which come out. And using those logs, when those logs come out, so in the fast formula, whatever we have written under log file, under ESS log, right, would get popped up in the log files. So that's how we can debug it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions? Please type in the chat. We'll leave it open for maybe 2 or 3 more minutes.
I hope everything was clear for everybody who has joined in. If you have any questions, yeah, thank you.
And we have a follow-up just from the question earlier that was asked at the beginning, referencing back to your costing experience. If you have an employee that has department level funding, right? They're 100% costed to their department A, and then let's say they be 50-50. So for A and B, just an equal 50-50 split. Is that something that would require a fast format to be written, or is that part of just simply costing using delivered functionality?
Yeah, actually, this could be done by using simple distributed costing. So when we create distributed costing, we have to create an object group. So when we get object group, we have to write that and to which all elements it would be distributed. So it could be just done even without fast formula. But if there are multiple permutation combination for the same question that you have asked, then we have to probably go for the FF. But what you have asked right now is very straightforward.
Thank you. I think that answers that question.
Thank you.
And let's see. There's another. I'm just trying to filter through the questions right now. I think we have 2 more. So let me just make sure I read it correctly. Says DBI items that we're seeing seem to be self-explanatory, but what if there's confusion on which one to use? Is there any document where a client can have confirmation or any details about a DBI?
Okay, thank you for this question. Whoever asked, see what happens in different releases. Oracle comes up with different DBIs sometimes. So some becomes obsolete and some are like there. So what I generally do is only through logs. So there's no documentation where it would say that okay, this DBI has to be used, and the other DBI, though it is looking like this, is looking like same, but you have not to use it. There's nothing like that you'll find out in any other documents. So the best way is print both the DBI items using logs. That way only you will be able to find out which is the correct one.
Thank you. I think that answers that question. I'll wait for them to respond. I also just sent a message that because there are some questions popping up. Keep sending. We do technically have like around 20 more minutes, so we'll leave it open for another 5 minutes. And I apologize if there's a brief pause. I just need to make sure that I'm filtering through the questions. I don't know if anyone else can see those. So says I feel this format is a little different from Fusion to EBS. Is that correct? There's just a bit more additional features.
Yes, there's a lot of difference between Fusion and EBS fast formulas, but yeah, Fusion fast formulas is a lot simpler as compared to writing the EBS fast formulas.
Thank you. We'll wait for a response there if that does not sufficiently answer that question.
Yeah. In EBS fast formula, one needs to have a very strong technical skill set as well, because we have to fetch a lot of values from the backend, writing queries, and one has to have a very good knowledge of SQL queries and PL SQL as well, writing different PL SQL functions. But that is not the case here, because um, everything is provided through DBI items in the Fusion fast formulas.
Question, have you worked at a client that has not used any fast formulas for any processes, but has used Oracle Cloud's Payroll and it serviced all of their requirements?
All right. So I have worked with a couple of US clients where the usage of fast formula was minimal. It was minimal, but never there has been a client where FF was not used. It has never happened in my experience till now.
Got it. I also, in my experience, have not seen a client not use fast formulas in some manner, even though the delivered practices and business processes within Oracle Cloud are very good and can accommodate majority. There's still unique requirements that clients have where a fast formula would definitely be better than changing your entire business process, to use just the functionality, especially due to what people would consider as customization. This is not a customization. You are not changing coding. So that's from my own experience, that's where clients may be nervous to use fast formulas because they think you're customizing a solution, but you're actually not. This essentially delivers functionality. It's like going in an Excel workbook and creating formulas in an Excel workbook. They're not going to alter any sort of coding or make you have to retest things with your whole IT department. And so that's my takeaways as well, to kind of reiterate the question.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, it's exactly right. Yeah.
And that seems to be all that's popping in right now. So I think that we are okay to finish up. I'll just say again, because I said at the beginning, but we will offer 30 free minute health check with your organization if you do want to engage with us. We'd be happy to hear about any pain points you have, you're looking to do in the future, what you're currently on, anything about your organization that our services might be able to help you out with. We would love to touch base with you. So, you may send an email out to sales@avalon softwareservices.com. Send it directly to Pankaj. We'll be following up with you within a few days regardless. So thank you very much for your time.